Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Wolves Only podcast powered by JWX. We have today the one and only Ryan Mack. Dog.
What?
Oh, hey, Scotty. Sorry, Scotty and Scotty. Crotty Scotty.
Hey, guys, I'm here as well. I'll just be over here.
My counterpart.
Hell yeah. Glad to be here, guys. Glad to be here.
Let's get it. Same.
You know, it seems like lately, Scotty, you've been coming more often on the show. You've been coming on the show more often.
Right? Both.
All right. Well, that's a good way to start this.
I was talking about the show, man. I was talking about the show.
Both shows. And Jake really hasn't been anywhere to be found. Where is Jake? I mean, I don't care. I like you better than Jake.
He's hard at work. Jake is hard at work.
I think viewers that don't know us are like, dude, Justin's so hard on Steve and Jake. And if they knew in real life, I am really hard on Steve and Jake.
But it's out of love. It's all love.
Yeah, I guess.
We just want him to be better, and we just want him to get all of the things done. That's all.
Yeah, I love them to death. But it's like, it's so funny because they're like the only people in this business that like I like can actually measure their production.
Yeah.
They're the only people I can measure their production. So it's like, well, I want to make sure the production that I can really measure is top notch,
top tier.
I know the rest of these guys are going to do exactly what they're supposed to do, but like theirs is actually tangible product. So I'm like, okay, it's almost like a sweatshop. You guys are familiar with sweatshops?
Yeah.
It's like my very own grown, it's my very own grown white male sweatshop.
Full grown male sweatshop.
Yeah, my full grown white Caucasian male sweatshop.
Okay, I just want to clear the air real quick, Justin. I don't know if you've ever heard of this before, but they actually already have a saying for that. I come from this, but we call that blue collar.
Yeah, but they're not blue collar. They sit at a desk all day and make visuals.
Right, they're not, but that's what that would be. That'd be blue collar. Just kidding. Carry on.
Wow. Ryan, bro. Well, tell me about your day today.
My day today. Well, man, woke up, hit the gym.
What time does Ryan Mack wake up?
I wake up at 4 a.m. most days. Sometimes on the weekend, I'll wake up at like 6:30, but Monday through Friday, 4 a.m. I like to do my gym early in the morning, start the day off right. Yeah, I didn't have anything else to do today, really, so I was just been kind of just floating around today because I knew we had this podcast, so I just started my day off on the right foot, and then just been kind of, usually Fridays are my day to kind of like veg a little bit because I don't got a whole lot going on Fridays, but yeah.
So you got yourself mentally prepared for Wolves Only today.
Exactly, bro. I was like, I'm going to get this day going right, so we're in the right mind frame.
Awesome. That's really awesome. Okay. And you're an online coach, and you've been coaching for how long now?
Been coaching online, like legitimately coming up on like a year, doing it way better now that I'm with JW Fit, but I did the in-person thing I've been doing the in-person thing since like 2019, but the online thing for coming up on like a year.
Right on. I remember I met you. I was in the airport. Where was I going? Was I going to Chicago?
Oh yeah, I do remember that. You were on the move. Yeah. I don't remember where you were going though.
Dude, I fly so often.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the timeline, but yeah.
Well, was it in November that you came on? November.
Yeah, it was like right before Thanksgiving.
So I was on my way to Grand Rapids. I was on my way to see Scotty.
Yeah, you on your way home from.
I saw Scotty that day later on in person. Yeah, well, I always see Scotty. It's lost its luster. Seeing Scotty. It was like the first time like Scotty came to California and I saw him, and Was that the first time I had seen you since I moved out here?
Yeah. That's
or was it when I came back for things? Anyways,
no, that was after.
Yeah, and then it was like, oh my God, Scotty's here. I haven't seen him in a couple of years. Like, this is incredible. Maybe it wasn't that long, but then all of a sudden it's like now I just like it's like picking up Scotty from the airport today.
Hey, what's
like
up, man?
another day. He's gonna live in my house for a little bit, and
yeah, that's kind of how it's become.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, he's just become.
Well, I'm still excited to see you, Justin. But hey, again, I'll just be over here.
He's just another batch of laundry I gotta have my wife do, and
hey, whoa. just for the viewers and listeners right now, that does not.
Wait, did that sound sexual?
Continue on. Just
I meant the sheets.
Laundry my wife has to do for me.
I meant the sheets. Oh,
perfect. There we go. Perfect.
He doesn't care. Listen, I like Bradley always says. He's like, I talk about having the magic floor when I take my shirt off. It magically gets pressed and hung back up. And everyone's like, that's sexist. That's so sexist. And he's like, no, it's not. My wife has a magic purse. Whenever she wants something, there's always money in it. I'm like, I am the same exact way.
I'm a fan of it. And not in like an arrogant, derogatory, dickheaded way. It's a trade-off, right? It's that even trade-off.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make sure that whatever you can have whatever you need to make you happy at any given moment. I just don't want to waste my time doing some of this dumb shit.
Some couples are like evenly dispersed with like, chores and things like that. And that's cool. Right? My relationship is more traditional. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people don't, and I don't want to get into this, but a lot of people don't know this about me. Maybe some people do. I'm extremely liberal. But like, there's things that like I'm like the Bill Maher liberal. Like I'm not woke at all. I'm not I'm not anti-gun, and I'm not like feminist, right? But I am feminist if they want to be feminist. But I'm like the Bill Maher liberal. But that's okay. And if and I don't care what anybody's politics are, they're all fucked up. But yeah, I just don't give a fuck. How's your relationship, Ryan?
With my wife?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic, dude. Yeah.
Would you guys say you're more old school in that regard, or do you guys share
definitely. Well, I mean, I do. I mean, I'm mainly like the outside guy. Like we have a house, and I'm like more like the yard, keep the yard clean, do the trash. I'll help with the dishes here and there, but yeah, we're more traditional. That's kind of how I was brought up, and it's just kind of how I kind of like to be the one, going out and making moves, and my wife.
So it was now is your wife? Does she prefer that? Is like that? Would that be her option as well, or did she like kind of conform to that? Not in a bad way. I just mean like she didn't maybe that's not what she thought she was going to want to do. Right.
She's kind of in between. Like I feel like her parents are the same. They're kind of the same way, but I feel like she always had this thing in the back of her head, which I agree with her. It's a smart thing, but we have a great relationship, and I think we'll always be together. But she always had this thing. I've heard people like women that their husbands just tell them to rely on them, and then they end up getting divorced, and what man's all good and she's all has nothing to go to and no money. And so she that's how she was in the beginning, but as we got deeper in our relationship, I think she feels more comfortable, and she's definitely she would probably prefer to just not have to work and just do more of like a stay-at-home mom.
That's what happened to my mom. Like my mom didn't work when my parents had me really young, and she like had one job, and then by the time she was like 20, she never had a job again for like 27 years. And then when my parents got divorced, she was like, what the fuck am I going to do now? Now, of course, she was left in a good situation, but it's so true that is true.
Yeah, so I couldn't hate on her for it. I understand where she's coming from, but I'm like, like even if something did happen, like, I got you, like, but
you say that, you say that until Mr. Cohen, until you pay your retainer. Let me, it's funny. Cause I talk about this a lot, and my wife is very independent. The two of us like met each other in the best parts of our lives. Like we were both like not dependent on anybody else. We were both like very happy with the people that we were as individuals. You know, she met me in a relatively vulnerable position in my life, if not the most vulnerable position that I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
And you know, like she still works. Not much. She doesn't have to work ever. I don't want her to work because I work from home. I want to hang out with my wife and dogs all day. Like it's nice having her here, you know. But she has a really cool position at you know, we don't talk about what she does, but it's nothing sexual or weird. It's just you're just not supposed to talk about it. She's not like a secret spy, but you know, she does something and she likes it. And she's been doing it a long time. So, and it's California, so it's allowed. And so I didn't give it all away, you know, but like
part of it, yeah.
Right. But like, and she feels like you know, like a sense of, you know, independence and, you know, feels good about that. But like, I'm like, stop working. You don't have to work. Like, I don't, you know, Scotty's wife doesn't work. And he gets hang out with
but we're like
day.
we're like the full opposite spectrum of that though. So like, well, kind of, I guess we're kind of like where the beginning stage of our relationship is where you and like Lizzie are, right? Like Allie worked, I worked, we had to maintain what we had and just as kind of time progressed and like I started to see more success in my life and we had the opportunity for her to kind of pull back, I just left it up to her, you know, and was like, if I had my choice, which ended up being exactly how we kind of played it out, right? If I had my choice, like, yeah, just like you said, I want my wife at home with me. I want to be able to see her when I want. I don't want to have her work if she doesn't want to. So like having that option was like always the end game. So we just, in time, she eventually just came to me one day and was like, I don't want to work anymore. And I was like, well, fucking hell yeah. Stay home. I love it.
You know, you want to know something funny? Ryan and Scotty knows about this. So I'm a real, like, I really like awkward situations. Like my favorite show is Curb Your Enthusiasm. And I don't know if you're familiar with Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I love that show. I love Curb.
You know, and you know how
dropped the new season.
I know the first episode was great, and I'd like to dive into that maybe if we have time. But I like to I'm like if I like I'm like the kind of dad that likes to embarrass the kid, you know what I mean? Or I like to embarrass my wife in situations, you know, and I'm just that guy. I just like to be loud and obnoxious, and so but I love the fact that she doesn't really know anything about Star Wars, you know, at all. Like I love Star Wars, but she doesn't get it and she doesn't know anything about it and all of that. So I got her, so she has her own debit card. Okay. And it's in a separate account that I just keep money in and she can do whatever she wants with it. She can buy whatever she wants. There's always money in there, but it's a Darth Vader debit card. So, and I specifically picked that. So every time she takes out her debit card to pay and hands the card to somebody, she has to give them this Darth Vader card. And you know, these dorks like me will be like, hey, you're a Star Wars fan? And you know, my wife's you know, she has no
clue. Say, Lizzie's not attractive, right? Like she's a good looking woman. So these guys are probably like, oh my God.
Shit, right?
I got a gamer girl, and so she has she always you know, and it's just funny because you picture her at Lululemon or Aloe or Nordstrom or whatever, and she goes to take out this card,
whipping out this Darth Vader card.
Yeah. She's got the Darth Vader card.
I love that.
And I just know in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, go spend whatever you want. Cause to me, it's more entertaining. Yeah. Whip out that Darth Vader card. So anyways, you live in Texas?
Arizona.
Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I knew it was there somewhere like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those desert states.
And you're not, you were born and raised there?
Yeah, I was born here. I lived here till I was 19, and then I moved to Los Angeles for about 8 years, NoHo, and then moved to Nashville, oddly, for a year, and now I'm back in Phoenix.
Okay.
Been around.
Are the scorpions really that bad?
Oh yeah. Yeah, especially if you live a little bit outside the city where it's a little more surrounded by the desert. Oh yeah, you get them for sure. If you go out in your backyard in summertime with a black light, you'll see them out there.
No,
they show up on that black light this beaming white It's trippy,
Do people
bro.
just be getting fucked up by scorpions out there all the time? Or what?
Sometimes, bro. But when I was in like 8th grade, maybe a long time ago, I was with some of my old friends and we were like in my parents' backyard, like wrestling or something in the grass. And we're like in my bedroom, like 30 minutes later, and my homie's like, I play guitar. I was a songwriter for a long time. That's why I lived in LA and Nashville.
Yep.
And he was like messing with my guitar, and all of a sudden he's like, ow. And I'm like, what? And I thought maybe like the string snapped, something. I don't even know what to believe. And he's like, ow, bro. I'm like, what? Runs to the restroom, bro. Starts screaming. Fucking scorpion comes crawling out from under the door. He's like, motherfucking scorpion, bro. It fucking stung him in the nuts, bro.
Oh, the nuts?
Hospital. Bro, it climbed up his fucking pants while we were in the backyard and stung him in the fucking nuts, bro.
Holy shit.
He had to go to the hospital and shit.
So that takes the cake. But I have a creature on my nuts situation. That is so fucking funny. So when I was like just a little tyke, and you can picture me like, probably like 10, chubby, like, I was husky. That's what they would call it. Husky back then.
10, 5 foot,
Fucking
11.
husky. And yeah, I was a husky guy, stretchy waist, board shorts. And I was bodyboarding down in, I think I was in Captiva Island. Can't even remember that. I can't even believe I remember that's where it was. And I'm bodyboarding, and like I'd be ripping, I'm like fucking ripping on this bodyboard, like just really cutting like major fucking tunnels and whatever they call it. Yeah. And then like I would fall off, and then the waves would like beat me to the ground, and I would hit the bottom, and I'd come up
drinking water.
I would come up in there, drinking the water, spitting it up, and then I would like my little netting, because remember the netting in the swimsuits. Yeah, I'd have like rocks and like seashells in there and all kinds of stuff, and I'd like exit out the seashells out of my little net. And so I caught a big one, guys. I probably caught the biggest wave that Captive Island has ever seen. And this thing, I crashed hard. Leash flew off my wrist or leg or wherever it goes, and I tumbled to the ground. I hit the coral reef. I really did. And I like came up, and I was like, oh my God. And I walked up, and I went to like the bathroom, and I opened up my shorts, and the littlest crab was just hanging from my scrot.
No, bro.
Just hanging from my scrot, and he was a little. That was the first time I got crabs. No, no, it was the littlest crab, and I swear I don't know if they're his eyes, but it looked like his eyes. He's like staring at me. He's like, I got you.
He was letting you know.
And I'm 10, and I'm like, and I kicked the crab off, and I'm like, oh my God, and I was good. Thank God I was safe. It wasn't quite like a scorpion. Tagging my nuts, but it was a crab, and his claw wasn't like hard, like strong enough, or nut sack skin is really desensitized to where it doesn't.
Skin's pretty desensitized. I don't think.
No, we all know. We've been messing with it since we realized it was there.
Once you actually hit a nut, that's a different story.
The nut,
yeah, skin. I'm pretty convinced you could just like scalpel your own nut skin and just you'd be fine. Like, I'm not gonna try it, but I'm pretty convinced.
It's a fucking durable. It's the Ryobi.
Like when they do the
skin,
test
right?
for a night. The what?
I said it's the Ryobi of skins. It's really durable.
Oh God! Fuck! I cannot believe you said it. No, you know what it is though. Like when you see those commercials for like the cut-proof pants and shit, where they're like scribing the knife over top.
Yeah.
I could see that being like a durable nutskin commercial where you like got nutskin. You're like nothing can get through.
Nothing can get through.
I don't know how we got here, but we're
now that we've
fucking here.
That's so funny. So you're a musician. You play guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Any other instruments?
I could play a little bit of piano, but my main thing is the lyrics. I was like a songwriter.
Nice.
But yeah, dude, did that for a long time.
So did you write for other artists?
Yeah. I was working with a company called Paramore Entertainment when I was in Los Angeles. They had me writing for a lot of like influencers. Like they were like a management company, but they had like a music part of it. And they had like a ton of influencers with like lots of followers. Like some of them had millions of followers, and they would just link me up with them. And
Nice.
and I would write for them. I almost had a major label cut with Robin Thicke. I still have a screenshot of the email from Sony ATV. But yeah, that was about as close I got to a major label cut. But I worked with a lot of influencers, met a lot of cool people, worked in a lot of cool places. I actually recorded a rap song with one of Lil Wayne's producers. His name's Diesel.
Nice.
We actually did a song together where I actually rapped on it. But yeah, I did some cool shit. But yeah, dude, you know, the music industry comes with like a lot of partying and drugs, and having been an addict, dude, it was like fucking just a fucking bad place for me, bro.
Yeah. Were you an
really
addict before? Well, go ahead. Sorry, Scotty.
I was just saying, you in that environment, you really have got to be at a place of absolute peace, like
100%
in your sobriety and getting past that shit to be able to do that. It was even hard for me to like go to a concert for like quite a long time. Like,
oh, bro, yeah, I'm
into
fucking
it.
with you, 100%.
Yeah, you know, me and Scotty are both musicians too.
That's sick, dude. I didn't know. I knew you guys were into metal, but I didn't know you guys were musicians. That's dope.
Oh, big time. Yeah, big time. Both of us played music growing up, all the way through college. I was in
honestly,
bands.
Music was probably really like my first love. Like, for
me
real.
too.
Like,
like
even to this day, like I don't have the desire to like do it big like I used to anymore or anything like that. But like even to this day, I have moments where I'm just like, man, that was so fun. That was just some of the funnest shit. You know, just being in that environment, and especially like, cause you know, we wrote, we played, I sang. So like, it was the same thing. You get those feelings. And if you've ever been on stage too, like that's another, that takes it to a whole nother fucking level. Like being on stage and just feeling the energy of a crowd and like all of that is like, I think a lot of that had, for me, is why I enjoyed being on stage as a bodybuilder so much, was because like, I remember what that feels like to stand there and like have that fucking energy. And like, so like that was like, for me, like probably music was probably my first love as far as like what I ever thought I would maybe possibly consider doing.
Scotty was on The Voice.
I was.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Bro, that's dope.
Years ago when it was like I think like the second or third year, like really, really early on. Yeah.
That's fucking dope.
I should dig it up. I've got like the audition tapes and shit
bro.
somewhere. I should get it up, man. It was pretty cool.
He had long ass dreadlocks.
Yeah.
Did you have dreadlocks back then?
When I went to, actually, I had right before I went on, so my audition tape, I had them. And then when I actually went, I had to shave my head already. So it was like, when they seen me from the audition, I had them. And then when I showed up, I didn't. They didn't give a fuck, but yeah. So it was like right in that transition period. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think his dreadlocks were fake.
No, I miss them, man. I miss them really bad. So it was like probably 8 inches of the ends were fake. The rest of it was real.
Oh, yeah.
So because I had right when I had it done, my hair was like probably like to here. So then wherever it pulled up, like we extended it a little bit, and that was it. But yeah, majority of it was. I grew it for like 5.5 years before I actually like had it done.
Oh damn, man, your hair will get long.
It was a good time. It was a good time. I miss it sometimes, but like I go through these stages too. Even now, where like I cut my hair back and I've like got it faded again, and my wife's like, I don't know, man. It's kind of like the old you, and that guy was a dick. So like,
just bringing back
she's
some
like,
bad,
I'm not sure about
memory.
it. Yeah. So we're on the fence with the hair at the moment, but.
So you moved out to, were you, so you were partying obviously quite a bit. Were you already like abusing substances before you moved out to LA, or what?
That's actually the reason I moved to LA originally. I moved there when I was 19, but I started getting high. I smoked weed for the first time when I was like 12. I think it was like 6th grade. And by the time I was like 15, I was full blown addict, dude, just like drinking. And then by the time I was probably like 17, 18, I was popping pills and snorting coke. And then by the time I was 19, I was smoking H. And that's the whole reason I left, dude. I was like, I told my mom, and they knew it there. I was like, look, if I stay here, I'm either going to die or I'm going to go to jail. And I always had the ambition to be a musician. And I knew I was always good at writing lyrics and stuff. And I had done the music thing. I actually went to audio engineering school when I was like fresh out of high school.
Where'd you go?
Oh, it's called the Conservatory of Recording Arts and Sciences.
Okay.
But I dropped out. I didn't finish it because my lifestyle was just fucking party animal, dude, just full blown addict. And Yeah, dude. So by the time I was like 19, I was like, look, if I'm gonna make anything of myself, I just got to get out of here. I was like, I know LA is probably the spot to be for music, so I just packed up and I went there at 19 by myself. Knew I had no friends, no family, nothing. Just an apartment in NoHo, 1 bedroom apartment in NoHo, and I just started over and thought I could outrun the addictions, but you can't, bro. If you don't change your ways, if you don't change your habits, you ain't changing shit. I don't care where you put yourself. You can move to a different country. If you haven't changed your habits, you will go right back to where you were. And that's exactly what I did. I went with new environment, same old shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not as if LA is any better place for.
Yeah, right. Not that I know that now. Fuck, dude, got just like worse.
Just say that's probably a lot easier access.
Right.
Yeah,
drugs
definitely.
everywhere, parties everywhere.
So what was like the? Go ahead, Justin. Sorry.
No.
I was just gonna say what was the turning point, right? Like what was that moment where like you were like, nope, this ain't it. I gotta change. I gotta fucking fix it. Like what?
Like when I finally gave up everything.
Well, what was rock bottom like? Like how bad did it get? Give us the juicy details. How bad did it get?
Yeah.
Oh man, dude. It got bad. Like so. Like when I moved, I always struggled with depression when I was like about junior year in high school. I started getting like super depressed, and that's when I really started doing all the shit. And I just, dude, when I moved out to LA, I was doing a fuckload of coke, dude, like so much coke, and I always had Xanax on me. Like I've listened to Dane's episode, and I was like, damn, dude, like I get it, bro. Like he was talking about how he would put the Xanax in his mouth and the taste alone he loved. I was like, bro, I felt that because like I was just so. I had crooked doctors that I knew, and I had a connection, a Xanax connection in Arizona, and it was like an older lady that had crooked doctors, and she would mail me like 30, 40, 50 bars at a time, and I just always had Xanax on me, but I was just like so depressed. So kind of like to answer your question, bro, like I had like so many rock bottoms, like my rock bottoms had bottoms, and like so like I would like, dude, I bought a Glock at a young age, like right when I was able to, and yeah, like what 21, I think in California, to be like 21 or something. But anyways, I was just like suicidal at points, bro. Like I would be coked out of my mind, haven't slept in like 2 or 3 days, and I would like try to take a bunch of Xanax to go to bed and like drink and jack, and I would just be like in my closet, bro, like alone, this like fucked up, like just with like I would be like, it sounds fucking fucked up, dude, but like I would take my fucking gun, I would rack it, and I would just hold it to my head, and I would like pull the trigger slowly, just like, dude, I was like ready to die. Like honestly, like there was a few times where I would like text my mom and it'd be like middle of the night and be like just talking crazy. And my poor mom, dude, I put my family through so much shit because they lived in Arizona still. So like, you know, to get a call from your son saying I'm been up for 3 days, I'm gonna kill myself, so she would like literally drive out to me. And like I think honestly, without like my support system of having my mom and my dad, I would have offed myself or overdosed or something, bro. Like, because that was like always my like saving grace. I was like, the only reason I'm not pulling this trigger is because my family. It's the only reason. So like, I had so many nights like that, and like close overdoses and shit. And so I eventually, I was in this whole time I'm in Los Angeles, I was in like an extremely, extremely toxic relationship. And so then we were both addicts and we would just feed each other's addictions. And so I had like a bunch of lows in California, like lots of nights like that, lots of just terrible times. And eventually I got an offer in Nashville. I submitted some songs to a publisher, and they were like, oh, come out here, it's gonna be great for you, we love your stuff. And so they convinced me to move out there, and I moved out there, and same exact thing, you know, being an addict. Within a week of living in Nashville, I knew I had a coke plug, I had a weed plug, I had all this shit. And so I'm in Nashville doing the same fucking thing, bro. And this is like kind of like slowly where the turning point came, but it's still not, because I think this is like honestly what saved my life is my niece was being born, and this is right about the time COVID started becoming a thing, and all the toilet paper was out of the stores, and never know you know what I'm saying, I was on all crazy and shit. And this is in Phoenix. My sister's having my niece in Phoenix, and so I told my ex-girlfriend, I'm like, look, I'm driving to Phoenix right now because if they shut down planes and they shut down everything, because I didn't know what was going to happen. I would go to the store and everybody's losing their minds and everything's off the shelves. I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't know what to expect. So I was like, I'm not missing my niece being born. So I drove to Arizona with my dog. Thankfully, brought my dog with me. And I drove like 20 something hours to Arizona. And I get there and long story short, I hear some shit that at this point I was waiting for a reason to break up with my ex. She had put me through so much shit and I was trying to save her, bro. Like she went down a path that I knew she was going to go down, but I was trying so hard because I don't want to put her shit out there, but she has like a broken family and shit and her family's not, because I was trying to give her the love that she never really had and put up with a lot of her shit to show her that I can love her unconditionally, but that's a whole nother story. But my whole point is I drove out there and I heard some shit that she had been saying behind my back. And I was like totally paying for all of her shit, taking care of her. And just the fact that she would disrespect me and say certain things that she was saying, it was my reason. So I called her and I'm like, look, I ain't coming back. Like we're going to buy us out of our lease. And like, you're on your own. It really took a lot for me to do that. Cause I knew if she didn't have me, she had absolutely nothing. She would be like all alone. So I really needed a good reason. Cause I was just didn't have the heart to do that to her, even though she put me through so much shit. And so I broke up with her and moved back to Phoenix. And same thing, bro. Fucking, I was back with my home grounds where I knew all the shit. And so ended up fucking picking up the oxys again, still on the Xanax, never stopped that. So then I got back on the opiates because I wasn't doing them in Nashville. I was doing like a bunch of blow again. And so I'm in Phoenix back at home and I started doing the oxys and I've been doing them for like weeks at this time, just like doing them. And eventually my plug runs out of the oxys. And so I'm like hitting them up. It's actually an old lady. It's just so random. She was a crooked ass lady. And she was like, I don't have any more Percocets. And she's like, but I do have these fentanyl pills. And I'm like, oh fuck. And at this time I had never tried it. And I knew people were dying from it and shit. I knew all like the Lil Peep and the Mac Miller and all the shit. And I was such an addict that I'm like, fuck, dude, like, fuck it, like, give it to me. Like, how, have you tried it? Like, is this shit gonna kill me? And she's like, just break it into like a bunch of little pieces. And I'm sure you guys probably know these things are fucking tiny as shit. Yeah. And so she's like, break it into pieces and just like snort a little piece and then take it from there. And I'm like, all right, fuck my dumb ass. Like, all right, cool. So I buy a few of them and I go back to my parents' house because this time I'm back in my parents' house living over there because I just moved back. And so I go in the bathroom and I crush this little ass pill, this tiny fucking pill up into small pieces. And I take one of those little pieces and I crush it into powder. And this shit, bro, looked like I dropped a pinch of salt on the counter, like absolutely nothing. And I fucking snort this little tiny line of fentanyl, bro. And it got me higher than I have ever been in my whole life, bro. Like higher than heroin, higher than any Percocet. And I was hooked, bro. I was fucking hooked so hard. I was like, oh my God, I can buy this little ass pill for like $5-10 and it can get me high like fucking 5 or 10 times. Like, you serious? Like, it's like a gold mine for an addict. So started doing those. And before I know it, bro, I would break one of those pills and it would get me high like 4 or 5 times. So I would just do little pieces. And then eventually, one pill's not enough. And so now I'm doing 2 pills a day and then I'm doing 3 pills a day. It got to the point where I was doing 10 fucking pills a day.
Oh, shit.
10 fentanyl pills a day, enough to probably kill 15 people, honestly. And I got my tolerance was so high. And I don't know if you've ever heard of it from anybody else or anything, but the withdrawal from fentanyl is unmatched, bro. Like I've withdrawn from Xanax. I have withdrawn from oxys. I have withdrawn from a lot of shit, cocaine. Bro, fentanyl is like a whole different monster, dude. Like I went through that withdrawal 5 times before I actually got off the shit. Like I would fucking get to another rock bottom where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing in my life? I'm back at home now and I'm back in my same place. What the fuck am I doing? I was suicidal, bro. I was honestly like so lost. I was like, now I'm giving up the music thing. Where am I going? What do I do? I had like no direction in my life, no purpose. And I had like terrible habits and just living like shit, thinking like shit. And so I was just like at another fucking point. And so like after relapsing on the fentanyl so many times, I finally was just like, like if I don't make a change now, like it's never going to happen. So I just finally decided to just sack up. And this is around the time that I met my wife, and she plays a big part in this because she's a fucking good woman. And so like by the time I finally hired a coach and got in shape, and through like getting in shape, the discipline of getting in shape, like proved to me that like that I can be happy and I can live a good life. It's just like, you have to like really be disciplined. Like you have to live a disciplined lifestyle. And I think I'm a strong believer that when you're living as who you're meant to be, you're going to find who you're meant to be with. Like you'll find your
100%.
people, you'll find your fucking your girl, you'll find who you're meant to be with. So when I was finally like living as who I meant to be, living as the best version of me, I met her, and she was just such a solid chick, dude. Like she's just like everything that I wanted, like the girl I've always been looking for and never really found, because I was living like shit. So of course I'm attracting shit people. And so she was like, eventually when I first met her, I was still doing the shit. I was still fucking doing it. And she would come home to me, bro, and I would mix Xanax and fentanyl, which is like a deadly combo. And she would come home to me. I remember there was this one night, and I was eating like Panda Express, and I was just playing my guitar. And she came home, and my guitar fell out of my lap, and I was face first in my Panda Express, bro. Food just eating. I was just passed the fuck out. And I think that was like I was just like I just put me out. And I woke up to her coming home, and she was just like done, dude. She's like, look, it's me or the drugs. Like, I'm not putting up with this shit. And I totally understood where she was coming from. And I feel like that was like the point where I was like, you know what? This shit has stolen my happiness. It has stolen my like whole life from me. And now it's about to steal the one good woman I've ever found in my life. And that's kind of when I was like, you know what? I'm done. And I fucking, ever since then, I've never fucking touched a Xanax. I've never touched a fucking Percocet. I've never touched anything. And that's like really kind of when I turned my life around. And I just am a big believer in just, you know, just like if you don't constantly progress and just try to be your best every single day, I believe you'll go back to this shit. Like if I right now just stopped training and just started sleeping in until fucking 2 PM and staying up and drinking on the weekend, I would be right back, bro. Right back.
Oh yeah. So fast. Because you have to fill that time, right? Like that's the biggest thing for anybody that's been an addict or is in recovery, that's been through this shit. You understand that if you don't have that time filled with doing something positive, productive, or otherwise, you're gonna fucking fall back into it. You've got
100%.
that's why the highest achievers usually come from a pretty dark background, because they understand that they have to keep moving in a positive direction or they'll fall all the way down the hill. That's just how we operate. It's just how we operate. Right. We can't change it, right? Like it's just it's something that's designed and wired a little bit differently up there for us, and it just has to be that way.
Yeah, that's true, bro. You like you said, like this is like wired different, bro. That's like a great way to say. That's how I kind of feel too. You know, we're just different. I always look at people that can just like do something and then not do it, bro. Like right now, if I have even though it's been years since I've touched like a Percocet, right now, if I did a Percocet and my wife did a Percocet, which she would never do, she could go tomorrow and just be good. I would be it's all I would think about. I wouldn't be able to stop thinking about it until I just did it. It's like, it's crazy, bro.
Yeah. I need another one.
Yeah, exactly. It's like all I'll think about, literally, bro. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's because, and we talk about this, sometimes. Right? I know Justin and I have talked about it in conversation before, but it's like, let's be real. People try to sugarcoat it, but cut the bullshit. Drugs are fucking fun. And they're feel good.
Great time.
And that's why people.
Bro, I still have dreams about fentanyl. Like I'll tell my wife, and I'll wake up pissed, bro. I'm like, fuck, dude. Like I miss that feeling, but I'm like, and then I just have to remind myself of all the negative shit.
Yeah,
bro. Like
the aftermath.
It's just like you almost kind of forget, like when you've been away from it for so long, and you've kind of found your peace a little bit. You almost kind of forget how fucked up your life was. Like, and I'll have to sit and like really meditate on it. I'm like, damn, dude. Like I was like, wanted to just off myself, like, and I'll be right back there if I go back to that shit.
And you try to pretend it wasn't that bad, right? I used to find myself doing that all the time, like pretending it wasn't as bad as it really was, to make myself feel better about like, oh, maybe I wasn't that bad, maybe it wasn't. No, it was that fucking bad. I was fucking doing cocaine on brand new customers' countertops. Like it was that fucking bad.
Dude,
you know what I mean? Like,
preach, bro, preach. I would literally take vials of coke. I would be a Cheesecake Factory in Burbank, bro, and I would have like 10 lines on my, like, big ass lines, bro. I'd drop like an 8-ball on my table and I have my menu over it, and they would come by and like, you want me to take your menu? You want me to take your menu? I'm like, no, it's okay, I got it. And every time they would walk away, I'm like sucking blowing lines, dude. Like that's how I would start my night. We would go there for dinner before we went out, and I would already be like on.
Oh, dude, like, you set it up like you were taking a test in middle school. You know what I mean?
Right. With the little with the blocking it up.
Oh yeah, I was a master of that thing. No, I wasn't hiding anything. I might as well just done it because everyone knew. Like they're like, in my town, they're like, hey, he's doing blow. Like what?
Isn't it funny too? Like you like have this fucking just bullshit mindset that no one has a clue. You guys, nobody knows.
Right.
Everybody fucking knows.
Right.
Everybody. Like fucking.
No, I didn't think
everybody-
no one. I didn't think anybody knew. I just didn't want to get in trouble. But I knew everybody knew I did cocaine. Like there was, I didn't hide
I always
it.
looked at it like this: like when you were paranoid about all those people looking at you, thinking they were talking about you, they were because they knew you were fucked up.
Yeah, right.
they were.
And that's the thing, dude.
100%.
I was like taking someone Xanax, and that's what I loved about Xanax. It just made me not give a fuck. Like that's why I got hooked on Xanax in the first place. Like it was like my baseline. Like I would do all the other shit, but like this was like my like everyday like had it. I mean, I would do the other shit every day too, but it was just something that never went away. Like even if I stopped doing the Percocets and I was on the cocaine, there was always the Xanax there, and the Xanax just made me not give a shit. Like it just like I would just like be ruthless. I would do the dumbest shit. Like I'd be like, I don't give a fuck. Like let him catch me. I don't even care. Like I don't even give.
Yeah, for me that was Adderall. Like, and I always like say this, but like people, I say that, and I think people don't really truly grasp it because like when by the time I was done with it, I'm talking like 300 plus milligrams of Adderall every morning. Like, easy, dude. And that was how I would start my day. Like, that's so wild. Like just, big
that's
time,
like
30s to the fucking brain. Let's go. And I could fall asleep. I could go to bed an hour later. Like fucking, so
holy
like,
shit.
Dude, that was like, I got to that point. But so that was because, so I started 5 years old. I think I was 5. It was Ritalin. 7, it was Prozac, Wellbutrin, Xanax was in there, Zoloft was in there, and then once I met Adderall, like that was my baby. Like then no one ever that was the wrap for that, and then that just slowly progressed. But like that was it for me. And then it got to the point where like I could do that much Adderall, and then in the afternoon by lunchtime I was doing cocaine. So it was like,
damn,
how my heart didn't fucking explode.
I'm surprised you did not have a heart attack. That is
no
nuts.
idea.
That is crazy.
But I was also like by the end of the night I was washing it down with fucking Jameson and weed and whatever I could else. I mean, I throw weed in there, but weed really was never like that one for me at all ever. Like I started smoking weed when I was like 11, so it was like a cigarette for me. But like,
no, it's the balancing act. It is. It's the balancing act that I loved with Adderall and booze. It was that like I wouldn't want to smoke weed because I knew like I could always like. Boom, 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 back and forth.
Yeah, right.
I love that.
Perfect.
I love this shit. Get me up, get me up, get me up, get me up, take it down, get me up. Yeah. I loved it. I thought I was productive. I thought that I was like more talented, more savvy, and I was, but I was just a mess. And I loved it. Speedball, and Adderall and Vicodin was like my thing for the longest time. The longest time was like, yeah, I would always outweigh the Vicodin, but I would keep that Adderall baseline or the Vyvanse baseline, and then
I remember just Vyvanse.
Then just chase it right down with another Norco, and I'd eat 30, 40 Norcos. I always kept I kept a pocket, like just my main pocket. Like I didn't even use the little pill pocket because that's what that's for, and I didn't even use the pill pocket. My main pocket was just filled with fucking Vicodin. I'd chew them 4 or 5 at a time. I'd chew them up. Swallow them, and then I would take another 4 like in the hard form because my logic was if I chewed them up, it'd hit me faster, and then I'd have the other ones right there to kind of keep it going. You know,
the way we think is fucking nuts, bro.
So fucked up,
fucking wild, bro.
So okay, so that so that happens, right? So your wife says like, "This is it," like what I always like to ask this question because like this kind of exactly what happened to me, right? Like I got to my worst of my worst, and I had one of those nights where I let loose, and my wife said, "If you ever fucking do that again," right? And it was like, "This is it. This is the it's either me and your kid or fucking fix it," right? So like right then in that moment, like where was your head at? Like because for me, it was like, well, I'm just gonna go drive off a fucking cliff then. Like, because I'll be dead bullshit on. My first reaction was not, okay, I can fix this. My first reaction was, well, fuck it. I'm just going to be done then. Like, that was my first reaction. I was like, fuck it. I'll just be done then. Fuck it. It's easier for me to just crash my car into a fucking tree. Like, fuck it.
Dude, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. I almost got defensive. Like, I was like pissed that she was making me give it up. Like, in my head, I needed it. At least the fucking Xanax. So I was getting like defensive and pissed off. And I was the same way because I'm like, you don't get it. Like, if I don't have this, like, just like you said, bro, I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't know, man. I'm fucking off myself or something. Like, you just don't get it. Like, so yeah, I was definitely in a similar place with you for sure. It took me a while to like wrap my head around it. And like, I just like had to think about like fucking, because like honestly, like especially with my wife being like the one that's saying it, it's like the more I dwelled on it, I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't want to be this like bitch ass husband that's like a slave to the drugs, you know. Like the more I thought about it, I'm like, I need to be like someone that she can rely on. I don't want to be like this little, because like it's like, you know, like I looking back on it now, it's like, bro, like I think people that are like, glorified doing drugs are just like, it's so bitch made. Like it's the most bitch made thing ever, because it's like people act like they're so tough for doing it, and I used to be one of those people thinking it's like all badass, but it's like you're like a total bitch, bro. Like you're like literally like a slave to this drug. Second thing is get hard, you run to the drugs. Second you're upset, you run to the drugs. You can't even handle life. Like you need to just sit and you're talking like you're Mr. fucking gangster, bro. You're a fucking pussy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100% agree. And you know, and it's so funny because until you've gotten to the other side of that, like it just sounds like there's no way. Fuck that guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like anybody that hears that hasn't got past it is gonna listen to you and go, "That guy doesn't know shit. I ain't no
100%, bro.
I ain't no fucking pussy. I ain't know this. I ain't know that." Where it's like, motherfucker, I beg to differ. Like,
and then the second he can't hit his plug in answering the phone, he's like, "Oh, my life's terrible.
You're fucking stressing the fuck out. Life is over." It's like, okay, go through some really hard shit and actually have to fucking feel that.
Exactly.
Shit.
Let's see now. Let's see how you're acting now.
Exactly. Because I think as the generations kind of continue to pass, like people are they're so much softer than they think they are. They're so much fucking
so much softer. Everybody's becoming so soft, bro. That's why I feel like this whole coaching thing we're all doing is what the world needs right now, bro. Because everybody's getting soft, especially these young boys, dude, young men, dude. Like I feel like we gotta fucking get on these motherfuckers because the world is getting too soft. It's beyond.
It is, and it's so fucking crazy too, because it's like I miss the days, and I used to love hearing about a good street fight. Right, it's fucked up. For real, it's fucked up.
We all love a good street fight.
You know what I'm saying? A good street fight.
I used to go on World Star Hip Hop just to watch the fight concert.
Like, but it's like fuck, like man, like back in the day, like you really could, like people were tough. You could fucking argue, you could throw some hands, and you could walk the fuck away.
Well, you can't. I mean, right out my front, right out of my house, my front yard, or whatever you want to say. I live in a city, but you know, like Huntington Beach is bar fight capital of the world. I mean, you want to catch a street fight, just go out on a Saturday night. They're going to be all over the place.
But but it's like, no, but all these young kids are like fucking tough this, tough that. But it's like the second, if you shove them, be like, "What's up, bud? Here's a fucking, I got an AK for you. Got a 9 in your mouth. I'm tough. Like, no, you're not. Put the gun down. Like, get tough. Go, like, have some light. You're like, dude, shut up. Like, it's
shut
just
the fuck up.
Something is happening generationally, and it's like, you nailed it on the head, man. Like, what we're doing needs to happen. This shit needs to be talked about. It's being brought to life. It's not like we're fucking inventing something new, right? But it's like at the same time, it's like the more of us that can be on the same page, and it ain't about being a fucking alpha. It's not about none of that shit.
Nah.
It's about fucking actually manning up and doing what men were supposed to fucking do.
Exactly. Just being what a fucking man's supposed to fucking be, bro. Doing hard shit. You're doing it. So when you do what's easy, it makes you soft. When you do what's hard, it makes you strong, bro.
Right.
Like, just like that, bro. I remember like when I was like a sophomore in high school, there was this kid that he didn't like me because I like took his chick or some shit. And I was in my bedroom, just like minding my own business in my parents' house, and I'm like playing video games or something, and he calls me. And he was like he was like making fun of like my ears or some shit. Cause when I was younger, I had like really big ears and shit. And he was like fucking saying all this shit. And he's like talking all this fucking, I'm like, well, fuck bro, if you're going to fucking act all hard, like let's fucking meet up and fight then. And like he was like, all right, let's go. And then he's like, well, we can just meet up at a party. If I see you at a party, we'll fight. Then I'm like, no, bro, if you have a fucking problem with me, I don't want to have to worry every time I go to a party, I'm getting a fight. If you want to fight me, let's fight right fucking now. And so I met him at like some fucking tennis court. And we fought, and that was the end of it. But like nowadays, I feel like everyone would be like, well, you should accept your ears and you should be accepting of this and that. It's like, oh my God, shut up. Fuck up, dude. Fuck.
Yeah, and it's so true, dude.
Bring back bullying, dude. Fuck.
Dude, man. Yeah. I'm like on both spectrums of it, right? Because on one end, I am very much like, be who you are, be yourself, all that. But on the other end of it, I'm also like, part of me is like that's bullshit though, because that's not who you are. Like that's not who you are, right? Like I don't like and if it is who you are, like I'm sorry, but your parents fucked up. Period.
Fucked
Like,
up, bro.
your fucking parents fucked up.
They fucked up.
You didn't teach your kids shit. You did not develop your children. I'm sorry. Like, you didn't. That's your fault. Like, that's your fault. So it's like it's hard to be who you are sometimes. As much as I want to say like be who you are and be 100% true to you, but if you're actually being true to you. Because a lot of these motherfucking people nowadays are being true to whatever they see everywhere else. And they're not being fucking true to who they are. It's what they heard, what they see on TV, whoever this next bullshit fucking scam artist is that's telling them they need to be this other weird fucking thing. Like, that ain't you. That's not you. It's not. I don't believe it. I can't.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro.
It's just, sorry, I just can't do it. We get controversial on this motherfucker. I don't give a fuck. Like,
no, it's great,
but it's true, right? Like, and it is. It's this generation of, and it's happened in every generation, right? But it's like this big ass group of these fathers or fucking whatever, dads, providers, whatever the fuck you want to call them, but like, that aren't doing the job of being a father. Like 100%. Being a father does not mean go to work, come and pay the fucking bills, and that's it. Like, that's not being a father. Like, that ain't shit, dude. Like, fucking anybody can do that nowadays. A father fucking provides more than just fucking money. They provide fucking, lessons. They provide discipline, consequences, teaching their children how to be good fucking human beings and fucking stand up for shit and like actually speak what's true. And like that's a father. Like, what the fuck is like running around nowadays is like some it's like some glorified babysitter.
It is. And a man that has kids and just goes to work and works hard at work is lazy.
Super lazy.
That's a lazy man. It's like you don't work out. You are not an actual example to your children. You don't take risks. You spend the rest of your life pursuing a dead end situation. You're not working hard. Sure, you're working hard at work, but you're lazy.
Yeah, you're lazy.
You're lazy. Yeah. Call it what it is, and that laziness, it is. It's like laziness and mediocrity and comfort, and that's it. Like, I work 6 days a week. Big fucking whoop.
What gets me more, dude? This gets me so bad with like this like specifically, right? Is like these fucking. How the fuck can you be a father? And you're going to sit here because everybody, I don't give a fuck who you are as a parent. Every parent does this, right? Be whatever you want to be when you grow up. You can do anything you want. You can be whatever you want. I believe in you. Just follow your dreams, right? How the fuck can you sit there and say that when you have literally done none of that? None of it.
Preach.
What the fuck are you teaching, dude? You're not teaching shit, dude.
You fucking said it, bro. And then they'll be like, oh, don't do drugs, and they're sitting there fucking having them fetch a beer for them and shit. It's like, oh my god,
yeah.
Oh
like,
my
are you fucking kidding me? Like, come on, dude. Like, if you're gonna fucking be that guy, then just be that fucking guy. Don't try to teach your fucking kid how to be something you're not.
It's all lip service. It's all lip service, and it's because there's no example there. They gave up.
They gave up.
Oh, they're telling them that they can do whatever they want, but what they're showing them is to give up.
100%.
Give up,
and they justify it by the fact that they have a job and they pay for the bills. Right? Like, cool. Guess what?
That ain't impressive anymore.
Yeah. Sorry to break it to you, buddy, but I don't give a fuck how ugly your wife is or isn't. If you leave and she decides tomorrow she's going to show her titties on OnlyFans, she's going to make more fucking money than you anyways.
Yeah, right.
Like,
facts.
So like you're fucking, you're whatever you're standing on that you pay the bills, it has no relevancy anymore in this world in 2024. None.
No,
Seriously.
Not at all.
No.
And that's like, okay, so that's like holding yourself on a pedestal compared to what? Not paying your bills?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, right.
I pay the bills. You're supposed to pay your bills. Right?
It's part of the deal. Yeah. It's like,
right.
It's part of what yeah. That's just part of being a grown up. That actually doesn't fall into fatherhood. That's just a grown up thing that you do when you become an adult.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You're an employee who happens to be a dad.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's the same thing. It's like I say it all the time, man. It's like I'll go places, and and like there's plenty of dads, but not a whole lot of father figures, man. Just plenty of dads.
100%.
That's all it is.
Bad ones.
So, do you have kids?
I don't. Planning to soon though.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Well, you'll be a great dad, man. You figured out all the hardship before you got it. I had to
Yeah,
figure it
right.
all out
Yeah,
while I had kids.
yeah, dude. I'll tell you. I always tell my wife, and I'm like, dude, if our kid trying to do some dumb shit, they'll never get anything by me. I've tried. I've done it
Oh,
all,
yeah.
man.
Oh, yeah.
You ain't saying nothing that's
Yeah.
gonna get by me, bro.
Not
No
a
fucking
shot.
some bullshit
Yep.
lie you're gonna do. I'm like, bro, shut up.
Yeah.
I had,
all right.
I,
Okay,
had
now
my,
tell me the truth.
I had my son Max on a cruise. We were at dinner on a cruise I took him on in October, and we were sitting in a nice restaurant, and they're not really that nice on cruise ships, but
Yeah.
they make it seem like it's a
They
nice
make it look
restaurant.
good. Yeah.
Anyways, I'm sitting there and we're talking, and I'm like, and we're talking about just like what we've done in our like bad, and I wasn't like going into like all the shit that I've done, right? Like,
Yeah.
but I was like, I asked him, I was like, so let's be real. And he's 12. And he lives in Sparta, Michigan, and you may not know what Sparta is, what Scotty does, and like the whole town smells like cigarettes. It's that kind of town. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like the kids,
Yeah.
like the kid, like the 12-year-old
Downtown is one street. It's like,
it's not if somebody's listening from Sparta, your town sucks and you know it. But like the kids there, they're rough, and meth is big there and things like that.
Oh,
He's
okay.
12, and I'm like, bro, what, you ever tried anything? And he's like, oh, and I'm like, you can be real with me, bro. Like you can be real with me. You're not in trouble, but like, what have you done? And he's like, I'm like, you're not going to shock me, dude. And he's like, and I was 12, like I was, sneaking
Doing
my
some
parents'
shit.
liquor. I was smoking weed, smoking cigarettes. And he's like,
Yep.
I tried to vape. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, you tried to vape. And I'm like, okay. I was like, okay. And I'm like, and how'd you like it? And he's like, I don't know. I didn't really like it. I just thought I was going to get in trouble. And I was like, okay, yeah, you probably will. And he's like, yeah, I'm like, you're not going to get in trouble with me. I'm like, but here's the deal, bro. And I kind of like laid it out for him. And I was like, if I can teach you anything, and he knows I'm an addict, and he knows that the things that I've been through, and he's a smart kid at 12 years old. He knows what's on. They know it younger than even that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And and I'm like, and I just kind of like laid it out for him. I'm like, look, man, you're gonna grow up. You're gonna be offered things. You're gonna do things. You're gonna, you're gonna be put in situations. And I'm like, but bro, I just need, let you know, none of it's really worth it. I was like, don't hang out with those kids. Like they're not doing you any good. Don't try to impress people, and I try to give them like the dad act, but in the back of my head, I know like this kid's going to try. I mean, he, between his mom and I, he's going to try shit. He's going to fuck up, but it's like, not giving him not enabling him. I had enabling parents. I did.
Yeah.
And it was from everything, it was like constant bailouts and enabling. And it put me in the spot where it was very, very hard, to where my rock bottom had to look really fucking ugly, really ugly, just like you, Ryan. And my rock bottom was gun to my head, suicidal, like, and at that point it was a point of desperation that I had to have so bad. I will never let my son get to that level, because I want him to be prepared for what's to come, not sheltered. We shelter our kids from this shit, and it's like, and then they get a taste of it and they immediately revolt.
Well, yeah, because it's like, I think one of the biggest mistakes, and I did this when I was younger, because I thought I was doing the right thing by almost following trend a little bit, right? Because I was a young parent, I didn't know any better. But the reality is like, don't teach your kids, how you think you want people to treat them, like, because the world's gonna beat the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
So it's like, let them know how the world's going to treat them. Be honest with them about that shit. Like, because the reality is, if you're not, you are setting them up to fucking fail
100%.
over and over in the worst ways. You're
love
setting
that.
them up for pure terror, dude, because you're telling them a lie. You really are. Not everybody gets along. The world is not fucking nice. It's not easy. This shit is hard. It's dark. It's scary. Like, you have to let them know the truth, because otherwise you're setting them up to fucking go into something they have no way to combat. and
Yeah.
they're gonna go to the darkest places so fast, very young, very young.
Right.
Yeah. You gotta teach them the good habits too to combat all the bullshit as they get exposed to it too. Because even though they know it's coming, if they have the right habits in check, that's what I'm gonna be pushing on my people for sure. Because a lot of these kids
100%.
grow up just like super codependent and shit, and like I was fucking I was taught. I actually got certified, believe it or not, through my whole addiction when I was like a functioning addict in Los Angeles as a hypnotherapist, and I was working with this shaman guy. His name's Luca Bersergi, and he like taught me like all about the mind and shit. Which I at the time I didn't really have a whole lot of use for it. It made sense to me, but as I got changed my life, it all started to make full sense to me and shit. And like I've realized that a lot of these kids, he would teach me how like kids are very, codependency is actually a thing kids go through, and it's supposed to be done by like puberty, but these kids aren't brought up to learn how to actually like lead their own lives and take control of their own lives and like lead their minds. And, I don't know how spiritual people are on the podcast, but like, you can call it your unconscious mind, your conscious mind, or you can call it your soul and your mind or whatever. That's how I refer it, 'cause I'm more spiritual. But a lot of these kids, if I've learned this now, it made so much more sense to me now that I've like changed my life. But like, that Luca guy always taught me, he's like, he's like, your mind is literally designed to keep you safe and keep you comfortable. And if you aren't leading it, it can make a lot of mistakes. And so like, I feel like that makes a lot of sense with addiction for me now, because your mind always wants to keep you safe and keep you comfortable. So like when you tell yourself tomorrow I'm gonna wake up at 4 a.m. and the alarm goes off, and every inch of you wants to stay in the bed and snooze the alarm, that's your mind, because it wants to keep you comfortable. But me, like Ryan, the conscious mind or the soul, whatever you want to say, knows I'm supposed to wake up before. And so when I have the power to get up when my mind's telling me not to, I'm in charge of my mind. And so like, it's basically just having discipline and disciplining your mind. But like when you don't discipline your mind can make mistakes. So like if you're, going through some shit, like these kids, they start to get into teenage years and they start trying drugs and they're dealing with all this like depression and stuff. And your mind, if you're going through something, you're feeling pain, and then you snort something or smoke something and the pain goes away for a little while, your mind's like, oh shit, if we do this, like we feel better for a little while. So it makes the mistake. It's thinking that it's trying to make you comfortable and make you safe and make you feel better, but it makes a mistake. And so now it's like your mind wants to get high all the time, because it's like, I know you're feeling this pain. I know you're feeling this pain. And your mind can't justify the difference between emotional and physical pain. All it knows is that you're feeling pain. So if you do the drugs and it goes away for a little while, your mind it literally becomes addicted, because it just wants to make you feel better all the time. So that's a bad thing that addicts have to deal with. And then until you actually start disciplining your mind and taking control of your mind, which means literally just having better habits and having discipline, because your mind always wants to go to McDonald's drive-thru when you should be eating egg whites. Your mind wants to skip the gym when you should be going to the gym. Mind wants to snooze the alarm when you should be waking up. The more you can discipline your mind by waking up when you said you were going to get up, and eating clean when you said you were going to eat clean, and always doing the opposite of what your mind wants to do, as long as what your mind wants to do is not serving you, then you're in control of your life. And you can beat addiction by doing that, because your mind is always going to want to run back to the shit, because it knows that as being something that makes you feel good and just wants to make you feel good. And so like the more you can discipline that voice, you literally just change your life. And so like I've really become to know that, because like I even teach this to my clients, because like that Luca guy always told me, he's like, there's like that whole, they make those like corny like yoga signs where it's like mind, body, soul and stuff like that. And he used to tell me, he's like, it's not mind, body, soul, it's soul, mind, and then body. Because if the soul is not leading the mind, then the body can't even follow. So and it makes much sense, because the soul or the conscious mind, whatever, however you want to refer to it, everyone views things differently. But if you're not disciplining your mind, like I'm saying, then you can't have the body. Like if the soul or the conscious mind cannot take control of the unconscious mind or the mind, however you want to refer to it, I'll put it the way I say it. If the soul cannot discipline the mind, then you can't have the body. Because if you as a soul can't wake up when you're supposed to and go to the gym when your mind doesn't want to go to the gym and eat clean when your mind wants to eat bad, if you can't discipline the mind, the body gets trashed. But if the soul can discipline the mind, then you can have the body. So like a lot of that stuff makes sense to me. And like kind of like what you were saying, Scott, just like, telling them how hard the world is. I think that's what parents need to do. They need to tell them how hard it can be, how bad it's going to be. And then they need to teach them how to lead their mind, how to be disciplined, because that's what's going to save them in the long run.
Yeah. To be in control of that completely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yeah, 100%. And it's true. And it's because nowadays, and I don't even know that necessarily that it's nowadays. I think it's just, this has been going on for so long. There's just so many more opportunities for people to educate others nowadays that you're hearing this more. Mm-hmm. But it's so many parents take it the same way as they do with everything else, the easiest route in their life in general, you know, and whatever's easier for them to not have to do that, which is probably just let their kid learn from fucking some other parent or fucking YouTube or whatever, and not actually teach them anything, right? So then that becomes 3 times as hard to then instill that when you're older.
Yeah.
You know, that's why fucking kids can learn a language in a fraction of the time that it takes an adult, because now instead as an adult you're relearning everything. It's not that you're trying to learn it, it's you've been programmed for so many years this way. Now this other way doesn't make sense, so it's fucking 3 times as hard to figure it out. Right? So it's just the complete setup for the worst fucking disaster of a young adult you could create. Without, just because you wanted to do it a little bit easier, right? Like, fuck out of here with that, man.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, because a lot of these parents, you know, they coddle the kids and like they spoil them, and then when it's finally time for them to like be on their own and be their own person, they can't do it because they're used to just having everything handed to them. They don't want to work and they don't want to do this shit, and it's hard to unlearn those bad habits because they've never really had to do anything for themselves, you know.
Right. And it's so simple too, right? Like when you were a kid, if you wanted something, all right, you want to make some extra money, okay, you're going to be responsible for taking the fucking trash out every single day. Right?
Yeah, teach them how to work.
And there's kids that don't get me wrong, you know, there's still parents, great parents that still do that shit, that are still doing that, still teaching their kids the right way. There's plenty of them, but I think there's more of them that are not.
100%
right?
with
like,
you.
No, fuck that. You can just play your video game, little Johnny, and fucking. My, you know, dad's gonna not take out the fucking trash and do anything either, so mom's gonna fucking do everything and all that, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think it's just this, we're just in this fucking shit show of lazy fucking people, period. Just
period. Honestly, bro, I hate to, I don't want to say I hate to say it, but I think a lot of it stems from just weak ass men, bro. Weak ass men. It does. I feel like just men have become soft, and I feel like when a man is strong, he'll be able to be strong for his kids. He'll teach his kids how to be strong. And you know, like fathers, even like fathers to their daughters. You know, a lot of these daughters have no father figure, and it's fucking them up. And it's because it's just shit dads, just fucking shit dads, dude. So
well, and that's why like you see fucking divorce rates through the roof and shit like that too, right? Is because the reality is at the end of the day, your fucking wife probably is not attracted to you at all anymore.
100%.
Probably turned off by you at that point, right? So then your relationship with your kids goes to shit because you again didn't do anything to even try to fix it, right? Where like if you were even a shred of a fucking man that gave a fuck and that was doing the thing that men do, you would be like, you know what, you're right, baby, I'm sorry, I'm gonna fix this, watch me do this shit, and then you fucking fix it. Like, and like that's it. It's that fucking simple. It's so fucking easy. But it takes like, you know, just like we said, all these fucking tough guys that think they're fucking no, grow some fucking nuts, right? Like the reason that your wife is at the party talking shit to her girlfriends about you, and why the fuck you aren't like Susie's husband, who's over here crushing it, making 6 figures, fucking ripped, doing fucking all this shit. Like, man, look at him, look at him, look at him. How come you ain't like that? Could you imagine that, bro? If my fucking wife was doing that to me at a party, oh my god, I would be fucking furious, dude.
See, I'd rather jump off a building, bro. I would rather jump off a building than be that fucking guy. And I honestly made an ad about that, bro, because it's so true, bro. It's so true. Because
you know, it's how many, like, because I have a lot of female clients, and how these women talk about their husbands.
It's embarrassing for them
to another man. They confide in me, dude, about their husbands, and I hear all the things that they do. They're victims. They didn't get the promotion. They didn't. They can't make it to the gym. They're tired all the time. They haven't been intimate in years. Like you're not making the money. You're fat. You're not fucking your wife. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
You're a lesbian.
Yeah.
You're a fucking lesbian. Sorry.
Like what
married a chick.
Yeah, what happened in your life that you allowed yourself to let yourself go to that point? And they don't see it that way because they surround themselves with other weak men and soft, pathetic men.
Exactly, bro.
And that's
you know what's funny? That I just want to be very clear about this. That was not a hit to lesbians at all, because I actually know some way tough ass lesbians that have fucked a lot of these dudes up.
Oh yeah.
For sure. Yeah, no hate to that at all.
No hate to that whatsoever.
No, not at all.
Like,
Not
not
at
even
all.
a little
No.
bit, man.
Yeah, not
But
at
yeah,
all.
No, it's just a lack of balls.
The hate is directed towards these weak ass motherfuckers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
the lack of balls that just is what
The
they
lack
have in
of
common.
balls, bro.
Yeah.
I've
So
seen
it's a
old,
soft. What were you gonna say?
What, no, I was gonna say like I had like my mom had a friend and like the husband, he's like all got his big old gut, and she used to like just come over to him and be like, oh look at, and like just poke at his gut and be like, oh and I'm just like, dude, it's like, doesn't that not fuck with you? Like I would be in the gym the next day, bro. Like did you like clowning him for being like having a beer belly and shit? And it's like, dude, like do you not, like a lot of people get married? I actually made a post about this because a lot of people, the second they get that marriage license, they just let themselves go. They're like, you're bound to me for life.
I don't have to try no more.
I don't have to try anymore.
Yep.
I'm like, dude, if you want to have a good marriage, like try harder. Like don't just not try harder than you were before, because then you'll have that spark forever, bro. But like when you just let yourself go and you look like shit, don't be fucking pissed off when your chick's over there talking about so-and-so's husband, bro. It's your fault.
Yeah, going on an extra business trip. Look,
yeah, exactly.
These,
I'm gonna go solo on this one, baby. You just stay home.
And as if it's not real, if that's not really a thing.
Oh, it's so
it
fucking real. It's
and
so
it
real.
is.
It is.
You know.
Yeah.
And when you're at work, because women cheat during the day, right? That's what it is. Women cheat during the day.
Yeah.
You know, and women cheat far more than men.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
Yeah. So
yeah, but you know what the funny thing is? Most of them fucking women are cheating on weak ass men.
That was gonna say, bro. It's
like you almost can't even blame them. Like you like it's almost like you can't even blame them. Honestly, when I see, like, you know, when you see these women and you look at their husbands and they're hot. These chicks are hot. They take care of themselves. They're in the gym. They're all of it, and their husbands are fucking soft,
dude.
Like, what do you think? What do you think they're getting so hot for? It's not for you.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
And you know what's funny too is you would think, like, if you had a half a brain, you would know. I don't give a fuck who you are, how long you've been together, what. Everything fades. Everything fades unless you continue to make it, like you said, keep that spark, right? So you could have been the funniest motherfucker on the planet when the relationship started, but your jokes from 10 years ago ain't funny no more, motherfucker, because you're doing the same shit you did 10 years ago, and she's trying to progress, right? So it's like, that's why that shit happens. It's like, it's ridiculous, man. It really is.
It really is.
To call yourself like, and this is where it fucking burns to call yourself successful as a man. Like, I don't give a fuck about your money. I don't give a fuck about anything else. To be successful as a man and have your own wife be talking shit about you constantly to all of her girlfriends and all the people that she knows, dude, like, fucking take a look in the mirror, man, because the shit, like, and don't get me, like, yes, some bitches are crazy. Yes, there's plenty of women out there that are absolutely dog shit nuts. Sure. I understand that. Sure. But usually, unless that man did everything in his power and everything right, not just in his power, but everything perfectly correct and in his power to make sure that the relationship didn't go south, like, that's your fault, dog. That is your fucking fault.
I remember a long time ago when this woman told me, and she went to college with me, and she was like relatively attractive. She was pretty hot, like later on, like not in college. And she said, she was like, I was like, well, you know, I was single at the time, and she was like, we need to link up. I'm like, I look at her Facebook, I'm like, you have like kids and a husband, and she's like, we're in an open relationship.
Oh geez.
And I looked at her husband, and I was like, are you the only one in the open relationship? Nobody is touching that dude. Nobody.
Oh man, that's hilarious, dude. That's hilarious.
like open relationship. No, you're not. You're cheating on him.
Like, yeah,
or he's a fucking cuck. And how many of these guys, these soft guys, are just cucks? how many of them
100%.
like accept that their wives are looking at other men? Not that like they're like the cuck that like looks in the keyhole and like, you know, like, you know,
Yeah.
like,
No,
like, oh, I gotta
like,
see what's
I want show me.
but like how many of these guys accept the fact that their wives are out there looking at other men? Because they are looking at other men.
100%. I feel like it's just a lack of respect and like rightfully so. Like I truly feel like naturally most women are almost more loyal than men. Like they're almost as naturally more. I feel like if a woman respects a man and she loves a man, she won't fuck around. But they're losing respect because these motherfuckers are just soft as shit. They're like, dude, like you.
Well, it's hard to respect a man who doesn't respect himself.
Bro, that was
that's
gold.
it.
That was
yeah,
gold.
and it's funny you say that too. I actually watched, and I wish I could remember her name because I'd give her a shout out. But I watched a podcast, and it was a female's podcast, and she talked about how she was like, I don't respect a woman that takes a man back after she or that stays. I'm sorry, I don't respect a man that stays with the woman after she cheats.
Mm-hmm.
And this is coming from a woman. She's like, I don't respect that. She's like, because you just told her like.
You're a punk.
Pussy.
You're a fucking punk.
You're a fucking punk. She can do whatever the fuck she wants.
Yeah, she'll walk all over you.
Back. She'll walk all over you.
Yeah,
walk all over you. And that's not a.
Well, it's funny
thing.
because I did when I was at the lowest point of my life, fat, drunk, sloppy, all of it. I did take a significant other back after they cheated.
And it's exactly what you just said because you weren't respecting yourself at the time.
Oh, not at all. I didn't give a fuck about myself. I was weak. I know that feeling. I know it firsthand. I don't really speak or give advice to things I haven't actually lived from, guys. If you haven't noticed, I stay pretty down to like exactly what I've actually lived through. And I know this feeling. I know the feeling of inadequacy, and I know the feeling of inadequacy to the point of self-deprecation. And inadequacy to the point of self-deprecation is fucking brutal. It's sad. It's sorry. And you have this fucking warped mindset about it because you know you're inadequate. So you tease yourself for it before. It's the same concept of disarming somebody, but you're just disarming their thoughts about you. It's so tormented. You are disarming someone's thoughts about you by being self-deprecating of you and by your own inadequacy. And men do that. And I know so many of them, and they don't even realize that they do it. It's like the compulsive liar. They are compulsive about self-deprecating based on their inadequacies. It's fucking shot out. It's horrible.
It is, bro. It is.
And it's abundant.
It's very abundant. Very abundant.
It is 7 out of 10 men.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. For real. 100%. It's wild.
Ryan. So we obviously know what your program's all about at this point. You are breaking weak men. And if I'm a weak man, and at one point I'll just repeat it. I was a weak man. And if I was a weak man and in my spot, I'm guessing that I would be your ideal person. Okay. Where do I find you?
Where do you find me? You can find me on warready.fit on Instagram. And it's pretty much where I reside most of my time is on Instagram.
I love it. I love your content. I love your attitude. I love everything you put out. I love working with you. This was a great podcast.
Hell yeah.
We went from really, you guys, the topic of dicks was a big part of this.
I was going to say, we were on the nutsack for a while.
Yeah, male anatomy was really the topic of this. Bro, I'm stoked. I love working with you. I can't sing my praises enough about you, dude. I can't wait to have you back on, and I just can't wait to, work with you more and forever. I mean, as long as you want, Listen, guys, go check out Ryan Mack on his on Instagram at War Ready Fit. And if you guys like this, make sure you comment, make sure you like it, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate you guys for watching. Help us get our message out there. Thank you so much. Peace. All right, guys, that wraps up an episode of the Wolves Only podcast. Listen, if you guys like what you heard, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like and comment. Help us get our message out there. If you want to work with our team, go ahead and click the link in the description below. Schedule a call with us. We'd love to get you on. We really appreciate you guys listening. And if you have any other questions, you can reach out to us on all forms of social media. Thank you so much.